Hey guys, what's going on here? Bobby Stevens from freedomwithbobby.com, and let's dive right in. Today, we're going through this series and we're on part 2, and this one I have titled The Great Land Advertising Lessons, an awe-inspiring advert. So let's just dive right in and see what they're working with to make this ad very compelling and inspiring to make people go and buy this package. So here it goes. We call it the Great Land. A land of superlatives. Alaska is an awe-inspiring destination that continues to draw thousands each year. For most travelers, Alaska offers a glimpse into a world apart from their everyday. After all, it's not every day that we can fish for salmon in the wild, watch the calving of primordial glaciers, or get up close and personal with a bull moose. All of this and so much more await the visitor who comes to Alaska. It's an adventure out of another time. Alright, so let's deconstruct this ad and see what's going on, what strategies they're using. So we call it the Great Land, a land of superlatives. Alaska is an awe-inspiring destination that continues to draw thousands each year. So you see here, we call it the Great Land, a land of superlatives, awe-inspiring. These are descriptors. These are very descriptive words, and when telling a story, or selling your product or service in advertising, or drawing people in to make them curious about what it is that you do for business when posting in a Facebook status post, descriptive words like this really draw your reader into the story. The more descriptive it is, the more you engage their mind, and they have more mental and emotional engagement in the story that you're trying to portray. Also, social proof is a very powerful influencer in the human psychology. So imagine you go into your very favorite holiday spot and you drive past this restaurant and it has so many cars in the parking lot and people are waiting outside the door. You're going to put that down in your mental checklist and say, hey, I don't have that much time right now, but when I do, I'm definitely going to come back and check it out because it seems to be a very happening spot. Counter that to you drive past this restaurant that you don't have a reference to, and it seems to be kind of like a hole in the wall. Not a whole lot's going on. There's no cars in the parking lot. They don't have a sign out front. There's really no social proof. You're likely not to want to go check it out. Now, I love hole in the wall spots, but I typically seek them out through reference. I don't just pull up to a spot and say, hey, there's nobody here. Let me check it out. That's not really how it works. And that's not how it works for most people. So continues to draw thousands each year is a great tool to use for social proof when selling advertising. Again, for most travelers, they're putting in that idea of social proof that they have had many people come here. They're getting a feedback from these travelers, and they say Alaska offers a glimpse into a world apart from their everyday. And you see this language pattern right here. It really opens people up and it engages their imagination. And they begin to take a glimpse into their own world and imagine how going to Alaska would give them a break from their everyday, whatever it may be. Because when you speak to people in language patterns that are very visual or kinesthetic, and you use vague languaging like a world apart and everyday, they begin to fill in the gaps in their own subconscious and start putting their own reality into whatever it is that you have spoken. So people start creating their own story as a part of filling in the information for it to make sense to themselves. And again, here you see that they're really creating that experience, that they're building that story and inviting you to be a part of it. We can fish for salmon in the wild. Watch the calving of primordial glaciers. Get up close and personal with a bull moose. Now, what comes after we can fish doesn't really matter, or whether it's watching the calving of primordial glaciers or watching the sunrise or the northern lights doesn't really matter. Get up close and personal with a bull moose or anything else doesn't really matter. But what they're doing is they're engaging the kinesthetic psychology of a person, the visual psychology of a person, and again with get up close and personal, the kinesthetic. And what I mean by kinesthetic, that's anything that you can touch and physically feel, or any emotion that you would have. So fishing is a very kinesthetic thing because you're actually putting forth physical action. Watching, of course, is visual, But getting up close and personal, there's really no touch that's being involved. But what emotion would you feel being very close to a massive bull moose, this thing that just is a mammoth compared to human beings? And what feeling would that give you? What excitement, what fear, what nervousness, what admiration would that give a person? So you really want to engage them on multiple layers and multiple levels so that they can really become a part of the experience that you're trying to sell to them. All right, so let's keep on going, and let me ask you this while we're going a little bit deeper. Are you aware of how much valuable information you've received so far? I mean, this is really good stuff here, and you can start using this right now, today, in your advertising to really make a difference in your business. So I hope you're enjoying this information so far. Let's touch on this last point before we wrap it up. All of this and so much more await the visitor who comes to Alaska. Again, this very artful vagueness. You're really telling a story in a way that people fill in their own details. So much more await the visitor. So much more of what? There's really no anchor or reference to attach this to. So while these people who are reading your advertisement or your Facebook status post, they're really starting to engage their own imagination to say, hey, what much more is in Alaska that awaits for me? And it really breaks down the resistance when you're talking about a general person, like a visitor in a sense, because you're not speaking directly to them. You're not being very pushy and salesy in your advertising. And that visitor in their own mind becomes them. But if you were to say all of this and so much more await you when you come to Alaska, they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, I haven't even talked to the salesperson yet who says I'm coming to Alaska. And it really breaks them out of that storytelling kind of imaginative trance. So using vague language like this is very powerful. And then again, just being very descriptive and creating even more of an experience at the end of this paragraph. It's an adventure out of another time. It's just powerful storytelling 101. So guys, I hope you really enjoyed this, and I hope you start using this in your advertising right away. And let's also do this. Let's give you some homework for this week. And I want you to take these ideas. Let's start here. I want you to be, when you do some advertising on Facebook, I want you to tell a story. I want you to use very descriptive words. I want you to build an experience. So use very descriptive adjectives to describe your nouns and adverbs to describe your verbs. I also want you to use social proof. So if you have social proof in your own business, then use it. If you don't, find somebody that is an influencer in your business or in your organization and use their social proof as a way to sell your advertising. Also use words and phrases that engage people on like a kinesthetic or a visual level. So use action words that are very exciting and are very emotional, or use visual words that make them want to close their eyes and imagine getting the experience before they're even there. And I want you to take screenshots of this or send it to me personally at bobby@freedomwithbobby.com. And I would like to check it out. I would like to review it and see if I can give you any pointers. And if you get any results from this, I would love to see that too. So just drop a comment. Again, send me an email at bobby@freedomwithbobby.com or hit me up on Facebook. I hope you have a very great day. I hope you got a lot out of this training, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.